Hello. Okay, so we're like on the fourth time trying to get this video out today. I keep having company coming in. I need a sign that says, or one of those lights that say recording in progress. Okay. So first thing I want to update you on, Marion Jones. If you don't know who she is, she's an Olympian. She won 5 medals. And then I found out something else about her when I mentioned her to my husband when I showed him this beautiful book I bought. He said, oh yeah, she went to jail because she had lied to investigators about having used steroids, and they stripped her of her medals. And I was like, whoa, really? So I was looking at some of the videos about her, interviews, etc. My goodness, what a great personality this person has, and what a sad condition she ended her career on. Very sad, because and it could happen to anybody that has any kind of stress in a really major career. But through much of her career, Jones was suspected of using steroids. And in 2003, a federal investigation into illegal steroid distribution by the Bay Area Laboratory Cooperative led to allegations by founder Victor Conti and Jones's ex-husband, C.J. Hunter, that the sprinter used banned substances. Jones, who had never failed a drug test up to that time, denied the allegations. In 2006, she tested positive for a banned substance, but was later cleared by a follow-up test. The following year, she pleaded guilty to lying to federal investigators. So the International Association of Athletic Federation annulled all of Jones's results from September 2000, including her Olympic titles. And they stripped Jones, the International Olympic Committee, officially stripped Jones of her 5 medals from the Sydney Games the following month. So in January 2008, she was sentenced to 6 months in prison for providing false statements to federal investigators about her steroid use and for her involvement in a check fraud scheme. So, how the mighty have fallen, dear Marion Jones. But all is not lost in her life, even though she fell from grace. She did pick herself back up, and she remade herself into a businesswoman. She is a mother, and she's married now, and she's doing okay. But yeah, it really ruined her reputation and her athletic career, which is so sad, because she was such an amazing athlete. But according to the reports that I've read, she had an unfair advantage while she was running against these females because she was on steroids. If you know anything about steroids, they're basically testosterone with some other things thrown in there. So, yeah. So even a woman with an unfair advantage of using steroids can beat other women who are not. Isn't that interesting? Yes. Sounds familiar to the things that are going on right now in our country, and how states are trying to protect women, but the Biden administration keeps coming up behind them and scrapping their bills and stuff. Not good. Here we go. Hold on. Okay, so that was my young adult daughter asking where ramen is. Okay, so going back to the theme of this channel that I'm working on. So I've been reading, I have a couple of books here. This one is Zenith 2016, and then of course there's the Zenith 2025, and there's one in the middle too I have somewhere. But these are the two that I've been reading lately again. So some of us who are Christian don't believe this stuff about the Antichrist and things like that. Or some of us who aren't Christian don't believe this stuff about the Antichrist and stuff like that. But I tell you what, since all this stuff has been going down, I have done an about face, and I am running back into the arms of God and getting under his wing, because honestly, that's the safest place to be when the world has gone this mad. But I want to read this to you. Manufacturing the Man of Sin's New World Order. Now, I remember all these things that different presidents would say about a new world order. New world order, new world order. I keep hearing this all the time. And of course, we've heard about the Illuminati and different things like that. And people would call you conspiracy theorist if you even mentioned it. Blah, blah, blah. Well, guess what? These things are real. These people are real. And they are out to get us, honestly. So this is called Manufacturing the Man of Sin's New World Order. And this is chapter 4. I'm going to read this to you. It says, last weekend, speaking in Prague, Barack Obama took the New World Order rhetoric to soaring new heights. All nations must come together to build a stronger global regime, he said. Obama's choice of words leaves little to doubt about what he means. Few freedom-minded people would choose to live under any kind of regime. Joseph Farah, Editor-in-Chief Executive Officer, www.worldnetdaily.com. That's his quote. Another quote here. We have operating within our government a political system, another body representing another form of government, a bureaucratic elite which believes our Constitution is outmoded. And Senator William Jenner, 1954, said that. 1954. So this goes deep, and it goes a long way back, and this is what's been happening to us in this country, and we are in it. We are in the battle for our freedom, for real this time. Going back to the book, it said, it's been assumed for centuries that a prerequisite for the coming of Antichrist would be a revived world order, an umbrella under which national boundaries dissolve and ethnic groups, ideologies, religions, and economics from around the world orchestrate a single and dominant sovereignty. At the head of the utopian administration, a single personality will surface. He will appear to be a man of distinguished character, but will ultimately become a king of fierce countenance. Daniel 8:23. They wrote that in there, see. Just going to read those off, just in case you want to check for yourself, because this stuff is blowing my mind. I'm watching prophecies unfold left and right, and it's scary, people. Okay, so continuing Zenith 2016, we're on page 76, if you happen to have the book. With imperious decree, he will facilitate a one-world government, universal religion, and a global socialism. Those who refuse his new world order will inevitably be imprisoned or destroyed until at last he exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God. 2 Thessalonians 2:4. Now, what we call the temple of God is our bodies. We're the temple of God. But I imagine sitteth in the temple of God means the temple in Israel. Because when you see the abomination of desolation, look up. Because he's coming. Jesus is coming. Now, there's been many interpretations of that. Could be enlightenment is coming via the Christos oil, or it could be literal, that there is a Jesus Christ coming. And I wonder about it. For many years, the notion of an Orwellian society where one world government oversees the smallest details of our lives and in which human liberties are abandoned was considered anathema. Anathema. The idea that rugged individualism would somehow be sacrificed for an anesthetized universal harmony was repudiated by America's greatest minds. Then, in the 1970s, things began to change, following a call by Nelson Rockefeller. The Rockefellers are like totally key to a lot of the perversions in our country. And here you have his name, is Nelson Rockefeller. So by Nelson Rockefeller for the creation of a new world order. Have you ever heard of the Bilderbergs? Yeah, he created that, I believe. So then in the 1970s, things began to change following a call by Nelson Rockefeller for the creation of a new world order. Presidential candidate Jimmy Carter campaigned saying, "We must replace balance of power politics with world order politics." So that just tells you right there that even from right that moment, that a lot of our politicians were all in on this idea. This struck a chord with international leaders, including President George Herbert Walker Bush, who in the 1980s began championing the one world dirge, announcing over national television that the time for a new world order had arrived. I remember that too. Yeah. The invasion into Kuwait by Iraq Babylon provided perfect cover for Allied forces to engage the Babylonian prince by launching Desert Storm against Saddam Hussein's forces. An effort Bush made clear was to forge for ourselves and for future generations a new world order, in which a credible United Nations can use its role to fulfill the promise and vision of the UN's founders. Following this initial statement, Bush addressed the Congress, adding, "What is at stake is more than one small country, Kuwait. It is a big idea, a new world order where diverse nations are drawn together in common cause to achieve the universal aspirations of mankind." They mean themselves, their aspirations. Because as we know, mankind's true aspirations is to have a family, raise children, be safe, own a home, things like that. We're not like trying to take over everybody. We just want a space of our own. But they are very ambitious. And honestly, they're indwelled with a very evil spirit, I think. Because it's just so strange how they act. They don't act like normal human beings. "Such is a world worthy of our struggle and worthy of our children's future, the long-held promise of a new world order." And see, nobody really understood what he was talking about. New world order. These people were getting in this new world order things. We would just be like not really realizing that this was actually a thing that was already growing. Ever since the president's astonishing newscast, the parade of political and religious leaders in the United States and abroad pushing for a new world order has multiplied. Britain's Prime Minister Tony Blair, in a speech delivered in Chicago, April 22, 1999, said frankly, "We are all internationalists now, whether we like it or not." Quote unquote. Blair could barely have imagined how quickly his doctrine would catch on. By December 9th, 2008, respected chief foreign affairs columnist for the Financial Times, Gideon Rockman, who attended the 2003 and 2004 Bilderberg meetings at Versailles, France, and Stresa, Italy, admitted, I have never believed that there is a secret United Nations plot to take over the U.S. I have never seen black helicopters hovering in the sky above Montana, but for the first time in my life, I think the formation of some sort of world government is plausible. The United Kingdom's Gordon Brown not only agreed, but in an article for the Sunday Times, March 1st, 2009, said it was time for all countries of the world to renounce protectionism. Let me read that again. He wants all countries of the world to renounce protectionism and to participate in a new international system of banking. We have this going on right now. Banking and regulations to shape the 21st century as the first century of the truly global society. On January 1st, 2009, Mikhail Gorbachev, the former head of the state of the USSR, said the global clamor for change and the election of Barack Obama was the catalyst that might finally convince the world of the need for global government. In an article for the International Herald Tribune, he said, "Throughout the world, there is a clamor for change." I can't do a Russian accent right now. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. "Throughout the world, there is a clamor for change." That desire was evident in November in an event that could become both a symbol of this need for change and a real catalyst for that change. Given the special role of the United States continues to play in the world, the election of Barack Obama could have consequences that go far beyond that country. If current ideas for reforming the world's financial and economic institutions are constantly implemented, that would suggest we are finally beginning to understand the importance of global governments. Or governance, I think. Yeah, governance. 4 days later, on January 5th, 2009, the chorus call for a new world order was ramped up by former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger while on the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. A reporter for CNBC asked Kissinger what he thought Barack Obama's first action as president should be in light of the global financial crises. He answered, "I think that his task will be to develop an overall strategy for America in this period when really a new world order can be created." Kissinger followed on January 13th with an opinion piece distributed by Tribune Media Services titled "The Chance for a New World Order," addressing the international financial crisis, inherited political order, world government to arise and govern a new international monetary and trade system. What do we got going on right now? They want to do the digital federal finance system with one banking system for all. And why is that? To control your money. The nadir of the existing international financial system coincides with simultaneous political crisis around the globe, he wrote. The alternative to a new international order is chaos. Kissinger went on to highlight Obama's extraordinary impact on the imagination of humanity, calling it an important element in shaping a new world order. Kissinger, a Rockefeller functionary, there's the name again, Rockefeller, and member of the Bilderberg Group and Trilateral Commission, who routinely turns up in lists among senior members of the Illuminati. If you didn't think the Illuminati was real, it really is real. So, senior members of the Illuminati prepped his article with key phrases from Masonic dogma, including the comment about the alternative to a new international order in chaos. A clear reference to Ordo ab Chao from ancient craft masonry. A reference to the doctrine of order out of chaos, like the mythical phoenix firebird. Kissinger visualized the opportunity for a new world order to be engineered from the ashes of current global chaos, exactly the point he had made years earlier in the Bilderberg meeting in Evian, France, on May 21st, 1991. See, this goes way back. When describing how the world could be manipulated into willingly embracing global government, he said, "Today, Americans would be outraged if UN troops entered the Los Angeles to restore order. Tomorrow, they will be grateful. This is especially true if they were told there was an outside threat from beyond, whether real or promulgated, that threatened our very existence. It is then that our peoples of the world will plead with world leaders to deliver them from this evil," when they're evil. "The one thing every man fears is the unknown." See, they want to get you fearing. That we got to fear the unknown all the time. Maybe that's what all this Ukrainian stuff is. And Russian stuff. Don't know. I sure have been having this feeling that goes kind of like all over me. This energy of not much time left, not much time left, not much time left. You see what I'm saying? So the one thing every man fears is the unknown. When presented with this scenario, individual rights will be willingly relinquished for the guarantee of their well-being granted to them by their world government. "Please, sir, please make things right. So I might have a bit of porridge. Just one more bowl, please." "No." "Oh, just one loaf of bread, sir. One more, please." "No, you only get one for 1 month." So during his second inaugural address, U.S. President George W. Bush likewise envisioned the specter of a Babylonian-like one-world government. Okay. With an almost religious tone, he cited Masonic scripts saying, "When our founders declared a new world order, or a new order of the ages," that's what he said. "When our founders declared a new order of the ages, they were acting on an ancient hope that is meant to be fulfilled." And if you know anything about Masonic religion, they mean to bring back Appollyon. They want Appollyon to take over. They want and Appollyon was another word for, let's see, Appollyon. See, I have this book here in this one, Zeitgeist 2025. Let's see. Yeah, oh no, this is the wrong one. I'm sorry. That's not the one I was studying the Masons in. That was this one, the Hiram key. Man, good stuff here. Good stuff here. Good stuff to understand. You got to know where this stuff comes from. The Knights Templar, the Gnostic connection. First Freemasons. Okay, it is it this one? No, it has to be this one here. Okay. I lost it. I had it here just a minute ago. Well, it has to be there. Okay. Well, the whole thing with the Freemasons is they're trying to bring back their God, basically. And when you read it, you'll start realizing that the God they're talking about is the Antichrist in the biblical sense. But to them, it's their God in the Masonic sense. And Appollyon. Let me just take a few lines from this page here. Come on. Okay. Alright, well, I'm just going to go with the Masonic evidence here. It says, and these are two authors here, Christopher, I can't remember his name. It's Christopher Knight and Dr. Robert Lomas. And they do a lot of investigating into the, well, here, this book is really good. You should get it. It'll teach you a lot. See, the Hiram Key is a book that will shake the Christian world to its very roots. When Christopher Knight and Robert Lomas, both Masons, set out to find the origins of Masonry, they had no idea they would find themselves unraveling the true story of Jesus Christ and the original Jerusalem church. As a radically new picture of Jesus and his ultra-Jewish sect started to emerge, the authors came to the controversial conclusion that the key rituals of modern Freemasonry were practiced by the sect as a means of initiation into their community. Rigorously analyzing and comparing ancient Egyptian records, the Old and New Testaments, early Christian and rabbinical texts, that's rabbi teacher text, the Dead Sea Scrolls, and the rituals of Freemasonry, the authors have been able to reconstruct the lost story of Jesus and his brother James and describe their struggle to establish the kingdom of heaven upon earth using Masonic-style rituals. The establishment of the Christian church is shown to be a political invention that has little connection with the man we call Christ. The early Christians buried their most precious scrolls beneath Herod's temple shortly before they and the city was destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. Lost to the world for over a millennium, they were clandestinely unearthed and interpreted by the infamous Order of the Knights Templar, who adopted these ancient teachings and the rituals as their own. The book reaches its exciting climax with the authors deciphering precise clues concealed within Masonic rituals that turned out to be the key to unlocking the secret of the final resting place of the Scrolls of Jesus. A magnificent shrine that is detailed reconstruction of the ruined Temple of Herod, built by the descendants of the Templars and the first modern Freemasons over 500 years ago. The true teachings of Jesus have survived and are waiting evacuation. So it is a really, really good book. I learned a lot. I need to find that. Anyway, Appollyon, that's what they're trying to bring back. And it's through all of the ways that they have constructed America and the things that they're doing to it now. Wait, hold on. Okay, more on Appollyon. Another video probably to talk about the whole thing. But back to the New World Order. Reality, unfortunately. Okay. So he asked him what he thought. Okay, so Henry Kissinger answered. Okay, so we're back over here where George W. Bush said, when our founders declared a new order of the ages, they were acting on an ancient hope that is meant to be fulfilled. And I was telling you that's Appollyon. So New Age guru Benjamin Creme, I guess it's Creme, was clearer still on how the marriage of politics and religion would epitomize a new world order when he said some years ago, what is the plan? It includes the installation of a new world government and a new world religion under, have you ever heard this word? Maitreya. It's a new age messiah. But Maitreya means love, and that's something that Buddha uses. It means love or loving kindness. 5-time United States Senator from Arizona and Republican presidential nominee in 1964, Barry Goldwater. Now we're in 1964. We've been in 1991, 2006, 2009. All of this has been culminating to now. So, nominee in 1964, Barry Goldwater, likewise foresaw the union of politics and religion as a catalyst for global government. In writing of the efforts of behind-the-scenes groups, including international bankers, to bring about a new world order, he said it would occur through consolidating the four centers of power, which be political, monetary, intellectual, and ecclesiastical. As the managers and creators of the new prophetic system, this power elite would rule the future of mankind, he believed. So concerned was Goldwater with the consolidation of government policy and religious creed that on September 16, 1981, he took the unique position of warning political preachers from the floor of the U.S. Senate that he would fight them every step of the way if they tried to dictate their religious ideas to all Americans in the name of conservatism. The increasing influence of the religious right on the Republican Party was bothersome to Goldwater, in particular because of his libertarian views. It should have concerned theologians as well. And I say this as a man often associated with the religious right. Combining religious faith with politics as a legislative system of governance harkens to the formula upon which Antichrist will come to power. Note how in the book of Revelation, chapter 13, the political figure of Antichrist derives ultra-national dominance from the world's religious faithful through the influence of an ecclesiastical leader known as the false prophet. The false prophet. Neither Jesus nor his disciples, who turned the world upside down through preaching the gospel of Christ, the true power of God, according to Paul, ever imagined the goal of changing the world through supplanting secular government with an authoritarian theocracy. In fact, Jesus made it clear that his followers would not fight earthly authorities purely because his kingdom was not of this world. John 18:36. While every modern citizen, religious and non-religious, has responsibility to lobby for moral good, combining the mission of the church with political aspirations is not only unprecedented in unprecedented in New Testament theology, including the life of Christ and the pattern of the New Testament church, but, as Goldwater may have feared, a tragic scheme concocted by sinister forces to defer the church from its true power while enriching insincere bureaucrats, a disastrous fact that only now some are beginning to understand. Behind these scenes, and beyond view of the world's uninitiated members, the alchemy and rituals of the occult masters, Illuminatists, Masons, Bonesmen, Bilderbergs, and Bohemians have combined to harmonize so completely within recent U.S. foreign and domestic policies as to clearly point to a terrifying Sybil's conjure, a near-future horizon upon which a leader of indescribable brutality will appear. Although this false Prince of Peace will seem at first to hold unique answers to life's most challenging questions, ultimately he will make the combined depravities of Antiochus Epiphanes, Hitler, Stalin, and Genghis Khan, all of whom were types of the Antichrist, look like child's play. He will raise his fist, speaking great things in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle, and them that dwell in heaven, Revelation 13:5 and 6. He will champion worship of the old gods, and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, Revelation 13:15. And he will revive an ancient mystery religion that is the habitation of devils, and the hold of every foul spirit, and a cage of every unclean and hateful bird, Revelation 18:2. Nevertheless, the world is readied, indeed, hungry for a political savior to arise now with a plan to deliver mankind from upheaval. That is good stuff, and it's scary stuff, and I can see that stuff working in the world that we are in. And I wanted to share that with you. So, this is part of the reason we are where we are. I have more for you, and I want to encourage you guys to see if I can find my phone now. Okay, there's a man who has recently come online with a new channel called Freedom Watch. And he is a lawyer. And he knows politics, and he knows the politicians. And he's worked in that area in Washington for many years. He's an old man. And I firmly believe in listening to our elders who have been here longer than ourselves. And he is trying, or is, working on impeaching Biden and Hunter Biden and James Biden and several others. Fauci. All these things for the crimes against humanity and all-out traitorism and all that's going on. And I strongly recommend that you check out Freedom Watch. He only has like 7 videos right now because he just started doing this. And we should all check him out and jump on board, because I think he's going to be a good way for the American people to rise up and fight the powers that be that are harming our country, and use our rights as the American people to bring down a corrupt government. And that is written into our Constitution, so we should take advantage of that right. When we see our country right now, it is on the verge of war and even civil war. And I don't know how much longer we have, my friends. I have told my children, I've told my husband, I said we need to have as much fun as possible. We need to do as many wonderful, amazing things that we can. and enjoy our lives while we can, because I feel this very dangerous energy telling me not long now. I'm not sure how long we have. I've been concerned that we may not make it to 2024 election, and I'm preparing. I just checked my voter registration card, and it's only valid for 2023, so I need to get a new one valid for 2024. My family and I, we're going to be staying where we're at, and we all know that the powers surrounding us, Russia, China, Iran, Saudi Arabia, North Korea, all these different powers that are now basically ganging up on America. And it's the American people that suffer for the policies of the government. So we need to start standing up, fighting back, no matter how old we are. And I'm too old for this, but we have to fight back for our children and our children's children's sake, or we're not going to be a country anymore. We're this close to losing it. We're standing on the edge, and all we need is one good push, and we'll no longer exist. You know, as a superpower, as a country, as anything. We'll be in a lot of suffering if any of us survive it. And make no mistake, these countries do have nuclear warheads, and they do not like us Americans. And it's not any fault of us, our civilians. We didn't do anything. We've just been kind of shanghaied by our bad government. And I agree with Freedom Watch, the host of Freedom Watch, that we do need new parties. We don't need the Democrats or the Republicans anymore. We need some new parties in there, some new parties that are honest. And we need some new boundaries to to secure our Bill of Rights and our Constitution, to make them stronger, so that this can never happen again. If we survive Biden, so that this can never happen again, because it is bad. It's bad for everyone, and I think that so many people are just blinded by their own bodies. You know, we have all these people over here in the transgender movement, and they just care about, their genitalia and their so-called rights to indoctrinate our children. Yeah, check out Freedom Watch. See what this man has to say. Donate to the cause, or he says he has a plan. I'm going to get his book. I want to read his plan and find out what his plan is. And us older people, the Generation X and boomers, we have to stand up. We have to, because our children have been compromised. They've all been brainwashed. They don't know what's good for them anymore. So those of us who still have our minds need to start standing up more. And I've wondered what I could do. I'm just a little woman in a little town, and I'm a nobody, really. I don't have any fame or fortune of any kind. What can I do, And this is one way I'm trying. And then I see this man, and he knows what he's talking about. So we need to all join together. And, once these people are convicted, as he said, we must get our military and our law enforcement officers to take them in and put them in jail. They need to be in jail, for crimes against humanity, for treason. They are traitors to the American people. Look what they have done in just 2.5 years. We've almost lost our country completely, and we're just about to, if we don't do something quickly. So he seems to have some clout, and he definitely has knowledge that is needed to do these things. He's been a lawyer for a long time, he says. So check it out, Freedom Watch. And thank you for listening, and I'll try to bring you more content to try to get our bearings. I mean, they have years on us planning all this stuff. We need to understand where it came from and how we got here, and then how we can move forward in the future and not allow this to happen ever again after it gets fixed. And let's hope we have the time to fix it. Be working towards that. And while you're working towards that, tell everyone you love them, and reconcile with your friends and your family and anyone you may have slighted. Reconcile, because I don't know how much time we have left. I don't know if we're even going to be managing to do this. I hate to be a doomsday sayer, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much time we have left. I mean, Biden is running for president again, and that's insane too. And he's talking about we want to nail it down and finish the job. Yeah, finish the job, putting the nails in the coffin of America. That's how I took it. There's no hope left with that person in power. And it's not him that's the total reason everything is happening. He's a conduit. He's a mouthpiece for Klaus Schwab. I found a picture of him and Klaus Schwab together, and these people in the World Economic Forum, they've been doing this a long time. They have groomed many children up to this point and scattered them all over the globe to be their voice boxes. That's why we're in this mess, because now they've grown up, these leaders, and they're all over the world. And they've been spouting all this mess, ruining governments all over the world. Because why? Because the organization of the World Economic Forum want to come in. They want to establish, and they want to take over your life. And not only just your life, but your body will belong to them as well. It is a nightmare, dystopian vision that they have for us. It's not good. Alright, well, I hope we got something out of this. I'm still learning. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe, share, leave comments, be nice. If you don't agree with me, you don't agree with me. That's your prerogative. You don't have to. I'm not trying to get in an argument with anybody. If you're trying to be mean and argue, I'm probably not going to answer you. But if you're talking to me like a human being, I probably will answer you. And, you know, I try not to get too wordy. I say thank you. I appreciate you. You're welcome. Heart, smiley face. I'm not going to be, you know, trying to make any or force anybody to believe me. If you're not taking a look around your own environment and seeing the things that are happening and following these politicians all around to see what they're up to, then you might want to start, like, quickly. Have a good evening.